Welcome back to episode 2 of the Marsii Show, a podcast where myself, I go by the name Marsii, makes a podcast. And this is obviously episode 2, and I thought that I would talk about not exactly actors, but the topic that I wrote down was characters aren't the people. I'm not sure what you would get out of that title exactly, but this isn't about like actors in Hollywood or anything. I more mean that there's I don't know how to say it, but there's a difference between a character in a movie and the person who played that character. It's a bit difficult to explain, but I'll try. I don't think there's really any examples exactly, but so a character might portray themselves a certain way, which might give anyone who is seeing the form of media that they are in, whether it be it could be paintings, they could paint themselves with all this demonic speech around them or something, which may not even be a representation of who they are. But I guess I'm more talking about in media like platforms like YouTube, and then there's like movies and stuff. Although I did say this isn't about actors in Hollywood, it's a more general thing, and so I think it goes along the lines of a saying that I may have come up with that I kind of think is a good saying, which is judge the art, not the artist. So whenever something happens to a musician or actor or whatever, just anyone who is making things, like it could be a director or a cinematographer or whatever, people are quick to kind of try and say that discredits all their work up to that point. Like if they get found out that they are into drugs, or they were, or like even after someone has passed away and they find out that they were into drugs or something, it doesn't make their work any less significant to a wider audience, or maybe it's more of a personal thing. So I'm under the impression that it's more like if you have a favorite movie and then all of a sudden you find out something not so good about the director or the main actor or actress or whatever in your favorite movie of all time, that shouldn't then not make it your favorite movie of all time. Things need to be judged on their merit, or whatever the saying is. And that's one of the unfortunate things about society, I feel, is that people just automatically jump down the throats of people who are just people, I suppose. At the end of the day, everyone's human. I don't really know where I was going with this. So I have a set list of podcast topics, and this is second. But I'm not sure if I had the judge the art, not the artist, in that list or not. But that's kind of what I've actually been talking about here. So if I do have that on the list, then I'm obviously not going to cover it again. But yeah, so I'm not really going to go into an example of anything like that. But it's, I guess what I'm trying to convey in a way is that regardless of how a person presents themselves or presents their personality or mannerisms or whatever, even if it's in public life, the difference between that persona, I suppose, and their their real behind closed doors self is usually different. And I think that sometimes people forget that. Sometimes actors or whatever might make a public appearance and you just have a pre-assumption of what they're going to be like in that appearance or interview or whatever because you've seen them in something and it's like, oh well, now I know what that person is like. And it's not just like nice people portraying bad guys or the other way around. It's just more of a generalized thing. Like you wouldn't be able to watch one movie and then just judge an entire actor's behind the curtains personality just based on that because they're meant to be getting into character. I don't know if this makes sense at all, and I highly doubt it's interesting, but I just wanted to make a bit of a series where I just sat down and spoke about things that I thought were worthy of talking about, I suppose. Of course, if I end up having someone else in any of these episodes, then these episodes might be longer, but at the moment, they aren't really. I think it's quite obvious that apart from the topic of the episode, I don't have anything else written down about dot points as to what I want to talk about or whatever. So I think that is the end of this episode, episode 2 of the Marsii Show. And this will, of course, be uploaded to the Marsii Show YouTube. Not on iTunes at the moment. That was kind of the original plan. I was hoping that I'd be able to put this somewhere and go on iTunes and submit the RSS feed or however it's done. I don't know. I think I tried to do it years ago and I think you need like an RSS feed link so that whenever you put out something new and the RSS feed updates on iTunes, it'll then be available at like the same time. That's how RSS feeds work. But I don't think YouTube does that, unfortunately. But yeah. So I'll see you sometime for episode 3 when I get around to it. I'm working on something at the moment which will most likely be out when you're listening to this, and it's actually, as we're speaking, is already out. Well, episode 1 is out. So that should be fun. It's always nice feeling creative. Also, if you're feeling creative, just try and do something with that creativity, because I know for myself, creativity isn't really something that comes along very often. So I try and capitalize on it. I might like write poetry or write songs or play guitar or film a web series or just something. Just try. And like even if you don't put it online, even if you never show anyone, even if you delete it all after, that's fine. Just try and express your creativity. And who knows, someone might just enjoy it.